life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart.
Okay guys, it's time to talk about some culture shocks that I experienced when I moved to Canada as a Jamaican, as a black man. So if you guys are new here, please take a second to hit that subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you can identify with any of these culture shocks, or if it's being told to you for the very first time. Quick background, I'm a Jamaican who migrated to Canada 6 years ago. So coming up on a decade, time really flies when you're having fun. So with that being said, before moving to Canada, I had zero experience traveling outside of Jamaica before. This was my first time leaving the beautiful island of Jamaica. Now I did a video about this topic a couple of years ago, but it's very important to do like updated content, updated information. And you know what, something that I realized, you're always constantly experiencing culture shocks, even if you're here for decades or a really long time. Now let's start with the first culture shock, winter. Now for me, I heard about winter, I read about winter, but I was expecting cold weather, which of course I got that because I'm in Grand Prairie, Alberta, so it gets very cold. But what I was not prepared for was the darkness. I was not preparing for 4 or 5 hours of sunlight throughout winter time. That was something that nobody thought to warn me about. And you know what? The longer I'm here, I realized that the hardest part about winter is not even the cold weather. It's the excruciating darkness that you experience throughout the winter months that can lead to different kind of mental conditions, especially seasonal depression, which you just find yourself being sad for no reason at all. So that was one of the biggest culture shock that I experienced. Now the other culture shock that I experienced was the fact that it's very hard to make friends. As a friendly guy, most Jamaicans are pretty friendly. If we talk to you a couple times, we automatically put you in the friend bracket. I had to learn that Canadians are not necessarily the same. It takes a long time for you guys to become actual friends. Now Canadians are polite, Canadians are friendly, but to break into different friends, social group might take a long time. It might take a while for you to actually develop a core group of friends here as a newcomer or as somebody who moved to Canada. So that for me was a culture shock. The other part, as real as the culture shock we're making friends are concerned, is as a friendly Jamaican, we are used to like being friendly with almost everybody, telling persons exactly what's on our mind in love. But I realize that it's very easy to offend some persons, so you have to kind of like take that with a grain of salt sometimes, to know that you can share, but you have to know what to share and how to share, because some persons might find your friendliness or your straightforwardness offensive. So you have to take that in consideration as well. Now let's talk about the food. Was the food a culture shock for me? Yes. Now I'm living in a part of Canada that there is no Jamaican restaurant. Access to Jamaican products are limited to a few sections of the grocery store. So you go in the grocery store and there's like a small section of a few Jamaican produce. So we're not able to get like our authentic Jamaican food here. If you're in the bigger cities and stuff like that, you might be able to get more access to Jamaican food, but I don't have that access here where I'm at. So food was a culture shock for me. I had to get adjusted to the Canadian food basically, which is, you know, like lots of vegetable, mashed potatoes, barbecuing, stuff like that. And there's a lot of fast food options as well. So like a lot of persons are just like living on fast food because like fast food options are so readily available, and some of them are really cheap. So that was a culture shock for me as well in terms of the food and getting adjusted to the food and stuff like that. Now a big culture shock was actually the cost of living. And yeah, you guys can say, didn't you do your research before moving to Canada? I did, but I don't think anything can prepare you for the level of expense that you're gonna incur here in Canada. We hear it all the time, Canada is an expensive country. It's very expensive to live in Canada. Cost of living is high. But until you're actually here and working and trying to survive, you won't actually realize how expensive it is to live in Canada. It's very easy to find yourself in a position where you are living paycheck to paycheck. You are constantly like struggling to, keep your head above water and stuff like that. And some persons have to do 2 jobs, 3 jobs. So it took me a while to really adjust to that pace. That pace was really something that it took me a while to adjust to. And also because like coming from Jamaica where it's very easy to survive. Like a lot of persons in Jamaica don't even have a 9 to 5, don't have a business, and they're surviving, they're eating every day. They're finding a way to hustle and make ends meet. But here it's kind of like really different. So that was a culture shock for me. Again, let me know guys if you guys experience any other culture shock as well that I'm not talking about in this video. And of course, if you're here halfway through the video, I would appreciate it very much if you guys take a quick second to just hit that subscribe button. Really helps out the content. And shout out to all the persons who have been subscribing as well. I see you guys. Welcome to the Anderson's Family YouTube channel. The other culture shock is something that you probably don't even realize that is happening to you. And it is you're gonna find yourself potentially feeling very lonely. And I didn't know loneliness until I moved to Canada and I moved with my family. So imagine moving here as a single person. Loneliness, depression, anxiety, those are conditions that a lot of persons experience moving to Canada. Moving from your friends, moving from your family, you're excited to take on a new journey. But nothing can really prepare you adequately for what you are about to experience in terms of the mental roller coaster. And when you couple that with immigration and not knowing what your future holds and all of these things, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. So be prepared for that. Now, the other culture shock was driving on the right side of the road. Sound basic, but it is a big culture shock for me because in Jamaica or on Jamaican roads, we drive on the left side of the road. So when I just landed and I saw all of the cars on the right side of the road, I was like, how am I gonna even drive on these streets? How am I gonna be able to adapt to driving here and stuff like that? So definitely that was a culture shock for me. And the other part of driving was the fact that there are persons who have road rage here in Canada and stuff like that, but the road rage here or the level of aggressive driving here doesn't compare to Jamaica. So for me, Canada is a safe drive. Well, Alberta, where I'm living, I can't talk for where I'm living. So when I say Canada, I'm really talking about my own experience from where I've drove and live and stuff like that. So for the most part, it's a very safe driving country. So when I just started driving here, guys, I came with my same bad old habits from back in Jamaica, where you're looking for police on the street and there's no police on the street, so you feel like you can run through a stop sign, or you feel like you can exceed the speed limit in a school zone, push the borders a little bit. But I quickly learned that was not gonna happen, not gonna work well in my favor here in Canada. Because one, I got 3 tickets within 1 week, 3 days apart. As in, today, tomorrow, and the next day after that. 3 tickets. Cost me almost $800 to pay off those tickets. One was for not stopping at a stop sign, and I quickly learned that even if it's in the middle of the night, in a remote community where nobody's on the road, you're gonna have to stop at the stop sign. So everybody stop at a stop sign. I wasn't used to that. In Jamaica, you slow down and look and you're gone. The other thing is, in a school zone, it's a speed limit of 30. So I was there driving through a school zone, slowing down to 42, thinking that I'm doing everybody a favor. The road was pretty empty, so I was just like kind of cruising through and got a speeding ticket. So I was like, what? Got a speeding ticket for going 42? Yes, because the speed limit is 30. So I got a speed limit for going 42 in a school zone. So of course, quickly learned that's not gonna work. The other one was actually technically not my fault. It was in winter time and I tried to stop and I ended up sliding through a stoplight in the middle of the road, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go. Got a speeding ticket, got a ticket for running a red light. Nonetheless, but the good thing was all those tickets were photo radar tickets, so no points off my license or anything of the sort, and it didn't affect my insurance, and that was like back in 2019. So knock on wood, knock on glass, knock on plastic, that was the last time I got tickets here in Canada. So I learned very quickly that you have to adjust your driving habits and stuff like that to match the rules and the laws of the road. Otherwise, your pocket is gonna feel it. You go as fast as you can afford. You pretty much drive as much as you can afford to pay in a ticket. So because I know I can't afford it, I try to drive within the road code as much as possible. Yeah. So those are just some of the culture shocks that happen off the top of my head. If you guys have any other culture shocks, drop it right down below in the comment section. I'm happy to hear or to see some of the culture shocks that you guys have. Oh, one more culture shock. As I'm driving and I just realized the amount of jacked up trucks here in Alberta, it's insane. The Albertan dream is to get a truck, work in the oil field patch for a little while, jack up a truck 6 feet in the sky, and then put on a muffler that makes it very loud. That seems to be the Albertan dream. That was a culture shock for me. I'm like, why are these trucks so high off in the ground? And almost like it's something that the kids aspire to or aspire to have as soon as they get their driver's license or get their first job. They just want to own a truck and get it as high in the sky as possible and put on some rims on it and put Jaja. I'm not used to that, but it's a culture, and that's a culture shock for me. That is a culture shock for me. So it is what it is. Anyways, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed already. Smash a like on this video and let me know about your culture shocks. Until next time, see you guys in the next video.